The newness for us is that all the architectural elements now are brought together as you walk through the door. And so all those elements give people a sense of brightness and openness that was a little bit hidden before. 2017, St. Francis underwent a visioning process that we've called faith-forward visioning. For the most part, the first 5 years we're implementing the communal and liturgical changes that we wanted to make that came from parishioner feedback. There was also in that a lot of requests for campus updates, and we prioritized those from needs to wants, and then we launched the capital campaign with Steyer, which we called Rebuild My Church Capital Campaign. But beyond that, once we got done with the more urgent needs, then we started moving into the phases that were more requests for specifically updating the church to really not just simply modernize it, but really to bring more light into it, as well as looking at the use of our spaces specifically with families with children in mind, and then also needs of the elderly, the handicapped. Among the more important elements of the church, we updated our pews, so they're brand new pews, the correct sight lines inside the church. The pews were tilted out a little bit more, the aisles were tilted out a little bit more. Now they're more focused on the altar. Also which is the front doors. So the front doors moved from the side entrances that were normal to the main entry of the church to the center entry, which primarily was a liturgical move for things such as funerals, to bring a casket straight into a church, for weddings, for a bride to be able to walk down the center aisle, and then just for your normal Sunday celebrations or your solemnities where the most formal liturgical movement is to be able to go down the aisle. Specifically here, the newness for us is that all the architectural elements now are brought together as you walk through the door. Before, when you walked into the church, by walking into the sides, you walked in underneath a low wall, and it didn't allow you to take that all in. Now, whenever you walk in the center entrance, it's all taken in. So all those architectural elements are immediately visible. Before the renovations, our back wall was almost 95% sheetrock. Now it's almost about 60% windows, so that people can view both from what's called the viewing area as well as our foyer of the church, which allows parents who have the children who are a little bit unruly, they need to walk, they need to move, to be out there without feeling separate from the liturgy. And not just simply in the foyer that has a lot of the activity of movement, but also the viewing area, which allows a smaller space where toddlers can walk. And then also our wall is at 18 inches, so toddlers can look into the church still and not feel like they're in a fishbowl. And so for me, the sacristy, which as anybody who's been at St. Francis has known, has been a main thoroughfare. One of the reasons why this entire project was done is for us to be able to get from the front parking lot to Clare Hall without going through the church. It's with regularity throughout the entire day, every day of the week, that people were transferring through the church or through the sacristy. So now our sacristy is in the back, which now is more protected for liturgical preparation, a priest's meditation, and then sacristan and usher work and things like that. So another one of the changes that was made that was really important to us too is the baptismal font was relocated from the center of the aisle to the north side of the main entrance, because before, guests at a baptism had to actually stand inside the pews facing backward in the church, and we didn't have a very large galley for the baptismal font. And now we do have a large standing space to make it more amenable to families being able to gather around the baptismal font. And then one of our parishioners handmade architecturally similar stands for our oils as well as the holy water that really set off that baptismal area as an Easter area. Primary responses for people has been the brightness of the space. You know, obviously we have all new lighting, which itself is brighter, but then the floor itself is a lighter color floor. And so between the lighting and the floor, plus the external natural light that's the first time bursting into the church. And so all those elements give people a sense of brightness and openness that was a little bit hidden before. This past weekend, we celebrated our first Mass in the church, and it was a very beautiful celebration, actually, of the Solemnity of St. Francis, because we transfer it from October 4th to the first weekend of October for us. And so it was a great experience for our name's sake to be the first moment of the refurbishment of the church.